What's up guys, Bodytags back again with another video. And if you guys are new to League of Legends or you haven't played through more than one season, what happens at the end of the season is there's typically a hard or soft reset and your elo gets set back and you have to play your placement matches again, and this can be a very stressful situation for some people. So I decided to make a video on how not to tilt and how to control your emotions during your placement matches so you guys can recognize when you're tilting, how to control it, and how to get that out of your ranked games. So I really hope that you guys enjoy the following video, and I wish you all the best of luck on the Rift and in your placement matches. I hope everyone gets the elo that they want this year, and best of luck guys. Okay guys, so first order of business is understanding tilt. For those of you guys that don't know, League borrowed the term tilt from poker. In professional poker, tilt is basically any kind of emotional response to being on a losing streak, to taking a bad beat, or to trash talking opponents. Basically, your emotions are interfering with your decision-making process, and this ends up in you making bad plays. Now, it's important to note that making a play that you don't know is bad is not tilt. Tilt is making a play intentionally that you know is bad because of your emotional response to your specific scenario. Now, before we start breaking down tilt in League of Legends, I'd like to show you guys an example of tilt in poker and what it looks like. The following clip, it's very obvious that emotions were messing with the guy's thought process and how this can affect you guys if it happens to you on the Rift.
Queen 10.
Yeah, Levy with the Queen 10 and the win.
Called a race with a
10 of clubs.
He called a race with Queen 10, honey.
I know, honey. He's some online guy.
I had a set. He's supposed to bust me anyway. Called a race with a Queen 10. You're not a player.
I think he's from Florida or someplace stupid.
Called a race with Queen 10. Idiot player.
10.
How do these players even last this long?
Don't know.
I mean, it's just so sick. They have no concept of
None.
poker.
It was an aggressive call.
Aggressive call? Idiot.
Smoke weed every day.
Alright guys, before we start analyzing the different types of personalities that play League of Legends and how they may tilt more or less than the others, there's a few things I wanted to go over. And number one on that list is that tilt can happen to anyone, even pros tilt. The only difference is that they try to tilt a lot less often and limit the emotional impact on their decision making that comes with tilt. So something else that I wanted to cover about tilt is that there's a lot of external triggers that can happen before you even sit down and play the game. If you're having a bad day, if you're not doing well in school, if you have a big project, if you're playing with a deadline, all of these things can add on to tilt if you feel a lot of pressure to perform well. And furthermore, I wanted to talk about the best way to stop tilt. And once you guys recognize and start seeing yourselves in these player profiles that I'm going to show you, you guys just need to stop playing. It's 100% the surefire way to stop tilt. Obviously, if you're in the middle of a tournament, you can't really stop playing, and there are other ways to minimize that, and that's my fourth point, which is game knowledge. If you have game knowledge and you make it second nature to go through the motions of the game and figure out where you need to go, what rotations to make, it's going to become more muscle memory to you doing all of those things. So an emotional interference, say if you're having a bad day or a bad set of games, is not going to interfere with your game knowledge if you're like more knowledgeable than say a silver player if you're in platinum, because you're already going to know what to do. So there's not much that you can tilt on. Tilt is obviously going to accept your ability to make on the fly decisions, but for the most part, as far as the wax on wax off stuff that you do every day, you're still going to be able to do that. So it's important to watch a lot of videos, preferably on youtube.com/bodytagslol, with guides and game knowledge, tips and tricks and all that good stuff. Okay, so now let's get into the different types of player profiles and let's take a dive into Tilt City. Okay guys, so first up we have the quintessential form of tilt. It's called Berserkers tilt, and this type of tilt is a total meltdown. You guys have probably seen it before, whether it was yourself or another player you've met in solo queue. This tilt is characterized by a loose aggressive player, and there's a big emphasis on the aggressive. People that are frustrated, that are on losing streaks, that are getting angry with the game are going to be on Berserkers tilt. They're going to be very upset. They're going to feel like they have to make a lot of plays to carry their team, and to compensate for their losing streak, they're not going to really think about the plays they're making, and they're going to be making a lot of type of playmaking plays that are going to end up being aggressive and that any enemy can punish. The next form of tilt is called Lily livered tilt, and this one is not as easily recognizable as Berserkers tilt, but it is basically the opposite of Berserkers tilt. After losing a bunch of games, the player becomes demoralized and they feel like they can't do anything to win. So they start playing overly passive. They're very enthusiastic about finding reasons to not engage a team fight. For example, if you're mid lane and you're about to fight each other, a player that's on Lily livered tilt is going to say, oh, our ADC's bottom lane, don't engage. Even if the engage is perfect, even if you guys cut someone out, the player does not want to risk losing anymore. He's already shocked by how much LP he's lost and the losing streak, and he really is trying to minimize his losses. This results in him playing way too passively and way too tight of a playstyle, and just like anything in life, guys, it's all about moderation. You need to play just average, not too passive or aggressive, and this one is the opposite of Berserker's tilt. Our third player profile on tilt, believe it or not, is called Winner's Tilt. I know you guys might be asking yourselves, whoa, Bodytags, I thought you only tilted by going on loss streaks, and this is not true. You can become overcome with the emotion of winning. So imagine the following scenario. You're playing ADC Trist, your 6 items, you have max range, and you just stop a game. You feel great, you instantly queue up into another solo queue game, and you go over aggressive at level 2 because you misjudge your damage. You end up getting killed, and you may end up even rolling back into Berserker's tilt. But basically, this is a form of tilt that happens when you become too in love with winning. You're kind of remembering your state in the previous game, and I know it's happened to me where I've gone a little over aggressive because I had just come off a win. The next type of tilt is called frustration tilt, and this happens after a while of not having any action. The game's kind of boring, everyone's playing it out slow, you're just contesting objectives and rotating, you're not really fighting. You're going to be looking for every opportunity to engage and start a fight, and this often results in loose play that can spiral you all the way back to Berserker's tilt if you end up losing the team fight. I know for a fact that in lower elos, people are going to group in mid and just kind of clash at each other after a while if nothing is happening, and this is a prime example of frustration tilt. Make sure to play the game out slowly and to not make any rash decisions because it can come back to bite you in the back. Alright guys, and the last type of tilt and personality profile that we're going to cover today is something to prove tilt. And this basically happens when the player feels a lot of antagonism towards his opponents. If your opponents are trash talking you, if the enemy Syndra is spamming laugh in lane, or if they're just being general dicks to you, you might feel a lot more likely to go aggressive on them, and you might feel like you have something to prove to them. You might go for a flashy play. You have a feeling that you need to prove to everyone that you're good at the game and that you're better than them. You want to not only win lane, you want to smash lane. You're going to go out of your way to do incredibly well, and this can backfire. If your opponent realizes what you're doing, they can manipulate you psychologically by antagonizing you and then calling in for a jungler gank when you inevitably go over aggressive if they recognize that you've got something to prove. And yeah, that's it for the video, guys. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys learned how to tell when you're on tilt and the different types of personality profiles that we went over. Hopefully you guys will recognize these during your placements and smash your rating and get a great placement to go into the new year. And I hope everyone does well in solo queue. I hope you guys enjoyed the video. Make sure to leave a like and make sure to subscribe if you enjoyed and want to see more of this type of content from me. My name is Bodytags, and thank you guys so much for watching.